Hello everyone, and welcome to this new edition of GM Web3 MultiversX every Wednesday at 9 a.m. UTC, 10 a.m. CET for European like we are. And today I am with Philip. Hello, Philip. What's up, bro?
Morning, GM. Morning. Everything's fine. A lot of work the last days, not a lot of sleep, unfortunately. But yeah, happy to be there. Need to discuss. I need to connect with people sometime because just coding all the time is not a solution. So happy to be there, discuss. There's a lot of news, a lot of things to talk about it. So I think that will be a great show today. Happy to be there.
Yeah, very happy to have you with me today. You're very handsome today. New haircut.
Yeah, I was supposed to be away. So I make myself nice.
Okay, I got
Uh,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
and that is no. Honestly, it's the same one I wore yesterday. To be entirely honest with you.
Okay. Have you seen my new webcam, new sound? Do you
I,
notice the difference or
Everything looks better. The thing is, like with the background was already nice in terms of definition because it was a fake one. After that's true. Even the incrustation is better.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's just the hat maybe. You have a light on top of
Look
your
at
head
my
that.
hair. Is it okay?
Honestly, it's look good like that, man.
Let's stay like this. So okay. Yeah. So welcome everybody. I'm very happy to be here today. Last Wednesday, there were not GM Web3 MultiversX. In the morning, we made the great MVX gathering, and it was a blast. It was very interesting to welcome more than 30 builders, 30 speakers, speaking about the different parts of multiversex from DeFi, NFTs, RWA ecosystem, and so on. I hope you enjoyed, and you can find, of course, the replay on YouTube. You can find the whole show, more than 3 hours and 40 minutes. But you can also find all the different table rounds. I isolated them on YouTube, so you just need to check on our YouTube channel and to find the table that interests you. And yeah, Philip, you were there for the last roundtable about the ecosystem.
Itself,
Um,
yeah. But it was nice, to have the point of view of so many different people in a so short period of time. It was really nice. I invite everyone to listen to it. After the camera, it's something in addition to be fair, but just to listen to the podcast with a lot of platform. And no, it was really interesting.
what did you notice? Maybe what did you remember the strongest take from this table round? Maybe if you had to
Honestly, I
remember
would.
something.
Let me think quickly. After me, I'm a pure technical, so it was like some announcement and some expectation in terms of technology and opening. I don't have anything in mind right now. No, I really like, in fact, because usually myself, I'm not into NFTs, memcoin, all these different things. I'm something that I'm kind of away from. But the way that people are talking about it, the way they are talking about building community, also myself, that I'm not really familiar with that and not sensible, if I would say. It was really nice to listen. In fact, the vision that these people had.
Hmm.
Something that I'm pure technical. I'm working more RWA, concrete solution. But when you arrive on NFTs and meme coin, you see that it's another approach, a way to bring people to bring usage, to bring user interaction, transaction on a blockchain. So it's totally another vision. And I think we need to have this both vision, there's multiple vision in the ecosystem, and we need to be aware that they exist, I think. So that was a really good reminder of that from my side.
Okay, thank you. So, on today's program, we will, of course, start by taking a look back at the latest crypto and blockchain news with you, Philip. At In less than half an hour, we will welcome the co-founder and co-CEO of Hatom Protocol, Ahmed, who will tell us everything about the first stablecoin, native stablecoin on MultiversX, the Hush. So if you have any question, it's very important for you to ask them in the comment, and we will ask them to Ahmed, so you can understand everything about this stablecoin, the mechanisms, the utility, and everything that you need to know about this. And at around noon CET, so it will be 11 UTC time, we'll be joined by Joaquim, our dear friend Joaquim from Gaupa Labs, who will be talking about xCities. We can say an event taking place in London on November 2029 and 30. So it will be not this weekend, but the weekend after, which I'll be attending, by the way. So yeah, same, if you have any question about this, feel free to ask them in the comment section. And before we start, I would like to thank the main sponsor of GM Web3. It's Hatom. Hatom, we will speak about it today a lot. It's for those who doesn't know, it's the MultiversX leading lending, borrowing, and liquid staking platform, and they are offering $25 in their token, the HTM. And to take part, all you have to do is to quote with the space link, and so I will give you the link to discover Hatom if you did not already have. Um, and yeah, so we can start with the crypto press review. But first, don't forget, it's very
Mm.
important, retweet the space, the X space link. If you watch us on Twitter, do this. If you watch us on YouTube, put a like, comment, subscribe to our channel, activate the bell also. It's very important for us. And if you watch us on Twitch, also subscribe our channel, share the link, and the show will be available in podcast too. Every podcast platform like Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and Deezer. So the same, subscribe, rate the show. It's very, very important for us in terms of referencement. So I really count on you to do this. So let's start now with the crypto press review. Are you ready?
Yeah, yeah. And I was wondering at the same time, I mean, your background looks, your real background, I mean, like really look really nice. It seems like there is tags on the wall. Like, I hope one day you'll reveal the background. I mean,
Actually, I have a painting out before behind me.
okay,
That's
okay.
why there are many colors.
Yeah,
Uh,
it looks like a tag wall, you know. It looks like you have a, you know. Okay, forget about it.
I will show you my real
I
back.
mean, yeah,
You'll see it will be less.
yeah. Okay,
Well,
it's not what I. It's
I
fine. Let's go for the news, man. Sorry.
and hello Arno, who will not be joining us this morning, but
You are
he
no.
is in the audience to listen to. And thank you very much, Arno. So let's start because there are so many news at the moment. And first, we'll speak about the Bitcoin guy at the moment. Like every day, there are one, two, or three news about him and Bitcoin. So let's speak about Michael Saylor, the CEO and the founder of MicroStrategy. I think you know him because he keeps buying Bitcoin like every 3 months for hundreds of millions of dollars and billion to more recently because he has announced a few days ago a major new acquisition of Bitcoin, bringing its total holdings to 321 and 200 Bitcoin. He bought for $4.6 billion. That's huge, one of the biggest bought purchase so far. And also, he announced a few hours after that he will raise $1.75 billion. He will raise fund to buy more Bitcoin. So it will be convertible bonds. So yeah, it's really huge. And what is interesting, because we will not, of course, mention every time he buys Bitcoin because it's like all the time. But what is interesting, he buys at every price. I mean, he doesn't care if Bitcoin is at $90,000 or it was 32,000 $32,000. He doesn't care. At the moment, I think his average price of acquisition is around 42 or 43.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And so that's amazing. And he just DCA, he buys every time. He doesn't care about the price.
There's something interesting with that story of Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. So first of all, he don't buy the Bitcoin for himself and for the company. And the interesting approach when I found with MicroStrategy is like he allowed people to get exposed to Bitcoin by buying actions. Because if you look at the price, the action price of MicroStrategy, more or less the entire portfolio, the entire inventory of assets of MicroStrategy is Bitcoin at 99.9%. So when you buy action of MicroStrategy on the stock option, on stock market, you buy in fact Bitcoin. And it was interesting at the beginning, like 3 years ago, it was the only way, in fact, to really easily and legally get exposed to Bitcoin on the normal market. And I think he don't care about the price. He just want more liquidity, that he get more volume at the end, and people buy more action from him. And I think it was his main game at the beginning, to expose people through action to the Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's interesting. We received the founder of Millennium Capital a few months ago. He creates investment funds, and yeah, he said that at the time it was impossible to add Bitcoin itself in the fund, and so they were buying shares from companies who was exposed to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
Exactly.
But what you say is pretty right, but I think it's not just about that. I mean, okay, the share has reached an age a few days ago, so MicroStrategy action price is just
Skyrocketing.
amazing, of course, thanks to Bitcoin, but also because of I think the company itself. I mean, they are selling softwares. I don't know what they do, but actually, I think what they do is pretty cool. Anyway, but I think it's always philosophical. It's all really real conviction from Michael Saylor that exposing to Bitcoin is something that is interesting in terms of sovereignty, in terms of maybe against the fiat currencies and so on. So I'm not sure it's just about money and something like that. He's a real believer in Bitcoin. And
Yeah, it's a full support. That's what I mean. He will never sell them really. His strategy, if I can say, is not to sell them one day or another. It's to hold more. I mean, it will change maybe one day, but no, it's a big actor in the
you
ecosystem.
know what? I don't even know, because look at Trump, who wants to create a strategic reserve in Bitcoin.
Amen.
Actually, if they do, and they will probably do, they will buy 200,000 Bitcoin per year for 5 years. Okay, so it's the plan, the Cynthia Lummis plan that was proposed to the Senate.
And keep the seized one while police operation and something that have been seized from criminal also, to not resell them after
Yeah.
to the market.
Actually, it's federal, so I'm not sure they will be able to do it, but they proposed it. Anyway, the thing is, if they do this, if they create this strategic reserve in Bitcoin, it's important to notice that if they do this, they will not be able to sell this Bitcoin for 20 years. Okay? When you create such strategic reserve, you commit to keep the assets for 20 years, because it's like a commitment through the market. Okay, because thanks to this strategic reserve, you will be able to lend money,
Yeah,
you
it's
know
part of
with,
that. Yeah.
and so the market wants stability, wants visibility. So it's like you buy tons of gold, for example. You need to commit to sell them for 20 years. Anyway,
Yeah,
so imagine MicroStrategy is doing the same. Actually, they're not buying to sell, they are buying to
to
borrow.
loan. Yeah, I think it's what they will do. They will keep
Like a
the liquidity.
collateral, so
Mm.
I'm not sure it's trading. But maybe, I mean, we don't know. But it's interesting to know, like, big companies like that, they don't need to sell their reserve. They use it as a collateral to finance everything they want. And that's how maybe Elon Musk did to buy X, Twitter at the time. He, of course, he spent some cash, but actually he used his Tesla
Yeah.
shares and so on to borrow from banks to purchase the acquisition. So it's important to think it way, in my opinion. Anyway, let's continue to speak about Michael Saylor, because he's not just a buyer. Now he's a Bitcoin advisor. For example, he recently answered on X to the CEO of Rumble, who were asking on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, Philippe. He
Mm,
made a poll. I retweeted it on my X
let
account.
me check.
He posted a poll saying, "Do Rumble should buy Bitcoin?" And of course, it's 94% for yes, with more than 40,000 votes anyway. And Michael Saylor just wrote in the comment, he replied, "Yes, and if you want, I can help." I thought
Yeah,
and the guy from Rumble, I don't remember his name, just said, "Okay, just sending you a DM right now."
I mean, amazing. X is amazing. It's an amazing platform. Let's be fair. I mean, like, but yeah, it's another aspect I think that MicroStrategy can play over is like for all the OTC buying also. They have so much liquidity, in fact, that they can be like the first point of selling to anyone that want to buy a big amount at the end. There is like you say, there is an asset palette. They need to keep a certain amount of Bitcoin in their reserve whatsoever, but they have a buffer that they can use to do all the activities that we are currently doing. At the end, there will be a big reserve of Bitcoin, like a big reserve of gold, with few movement but gigantic one, and make few percentage on top of it.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And also, Michael Saylor, because it's really his day, um, he announced that he will be also meeting MicroStrategy board, Microsoft board, to speak about buying Bitcoin.
I'm not surprised.
Also on Twitter.
But they will have a big role also when state. Huh? I mean, I think it's the next in your next news also. There is more country that want to add Bitcoin as strategic reserve, and these kind of actors, you need them. You don't want to go to see Binance. You don't want to see. Depend on your politics, depend on the country, depend on how much you want. But MicroStrategy will have a role to play in the coming years for allowed and facilitate institution to buy Bitcoin, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. Also, yeah, there's a battle of hedge funds at the moment. It's pretty fun. We have BlackRocks who say that they will not endorse the constitution of a strategic reserve for USA proposed by Trump. So BlackRock is not endorsing that. Okay, and you have Vanek, which is another hedge fund, who decided to endorse this strategy. So you can see on Twitter both hedge funds saying that they are for and their accounts. So it's pretty fun at the moment.
I mean,
If you see this,
it's a little GameStop story again. No,
yeah,
no, but I mean, it's their role. I mean, I don't know how it works on hedge fund, but I watched like a movie. It was a movie, I think, a movie kind slash documentary about like hedge funds, and they were explaining that in fact the communication instead of hedge funds, sometimes you just receive orders without really knowing why or reason, and sometimes that make kind of a cascade effect, and maybe just like there's a spark that starts in different direction in both companies, and cascade effect, discussion up to marketing. I mean, I don't know. Hedge fund, they play for their money. There's no real logic behind that. They just play a lot of math. There is for sure appreciation of the market, but it's they just play like mostly on leverage. And so for people that don't know that, I mean, they are mostly big players, but hot players. So right now they play against each other, and it's fun to watch. Let's be fair. Let's see
Yeah,
what
it's
happens.
fun. And we need to see that if one sells, the other one is buying. So that's why.
Immediately, and more can come in the game. I mean, like if you see that one will get down and you can like suck it out everything that is out of him, I mean, all the vampires will come and finish him. I mean, like
Definitely.
it's they are vultures.
Another news I saw that is very important, in my opinion, in Europe. Uh, Polish presidential candidate promises to support Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. So, of course, it's just a campaign promise. I don't know if it's a big candidate or if it's a small one, but actually, at the moment, I don't care. What is interesting is Bitcoin is like an election issue in Poland. So it's the first time in Europe that in a country you have for a presidential election that a candidate is speaking about Bitcoin this way. So he has pledged to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve to the country. So actually, he saw what Trump promised, and he said, "Okay, I think it can be interesting. So let's do this in Poland." And it's a first, so I think it's very interesting. And what do you think, Philip? It will happen in Germany because you live there, or maybe in France one day?
I mean, I would like to remind you that a few months ago, Germany sold their Bitcoin for 30K each, I think. So
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, like, so I mean, at the moment, Germany is so far regarding crypto. They keep that away. It's too abstract for them, really. They don't. There's no regulation in terms. For example, they made it simple. If you own your Bitcoin or your crypto more than a year, there's no tax. So I mean, for the moment, they don't overdo without understanding in Germany. So maybe it's not the best example. What I like to see, in fact, with what's happening right now, is like you have more and more candidates that understand what the interest of crypto for two sides. In fact, for raising money during the campaign, because at the end, you know that there's people with a lot of cash. You know that there's people, if you put Bitcoin already, just look, we are talking about it. So just it's already a win for the ecosystem. So you have people that will probably throw money at it, like people like throw. I don't know if you have numbers about that, by the way. If the amount of crypto money that Trump raised for his campaign
$200 million.
in crypto.
It's not in crypto, it's from the crypto industry.
Okay, it's from the crypto. So it's a lot of cash. Okay, maybe in US it doesn't mean a lot, but
Let just add something. The whole campaign was worth $2.5 billion.
yeah,
So
exactly.
200 million, it's a lot of money, but it's pretty much few regarding the whole cost. But it
Yeah,
was way more than the previous election, of course.
no, but it's also a point for Poland and for the country, and even more in Western Europe, because we haven't lived that in France really and in Germany regarding in Western Europe regarding the devaluation of our currencies. But the country in the East already experienced that at the end of the Soviet Union. So they are already aware of the risk of the money losing total value, and I think they probably will be the first to go into the Federal Reserve, into not federal, but the National Reserve, into crypto and Bitcoin, to avoid having only euro and their own currency. I mean, when you see what's happening all around the world, I mean, it will come at a certain degree, maybe not, but you could be really subject to an inflation in your country, and you'll be really happy to have kept some Bitcoin at a certain moment when it was not really that expensive for your country.
Yeah, and just CZ just declared a few hours ago that at the time everybody will try to get some Bitcoin. So there will be
It's
like a core, and he's speaking about countries, economies. So we have, of course, also we have already Salvador. We have Argentina, who is ready, I think, to do it because they met Salvador's CEO. We have the USA. We have Hong Kong, who say that he was interested in such a strategic reserve. So yeah,
China also. You have a lot of countries that also put more, but don't even announce it, because that's not the point of announcing that you're buying if you want to buy for long term.
definitely.
Uh,
So
it's a
yeah, if you guys have Bitcoin, someone says never sell them because if you sell them, they will buy it.
keep them on the ledger.
Financial advice, of course, but it's very interesting to see how many countries and institution and companies too that are buying Bitcoin at the moment. Let's continue with Vanek. Let's speak about Vanek again. Anticipates promising Solana ETF by 2025. So we remember that BlackRock a few months ago said that Solana ETF was not um, um, at the moment something they were thinking about. And Vanek now thinks that they will be a Solana ETF by 2025. We also spoke about the XRP, the Ripple ETF that would arrive in 2025. Uh, just waiting for the SEC to definitely stop suing them. But yes, it can be interesting to see in 2025 how many ETF we will have. We already have Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe Solana, XRP. So what about, I don't know, like Dodge or Cardano or something like that? So imagine we can have a bet today. So how many cryptocurrency will have their ETF by 2025? What do you think?
I mean, honestly, I don't see a limit. I mean, at the end, if you start to make the regulation properly, that the SEC don't see any problematic in you doing that. That you do it cleanly. That there is no problem. That you can try. That you can freeze. That you can do whatever you want and apply the rules. They will all be becoming ETF. At the end, it's the same that we want that all stock options become also crypto somehow. I mean, at the end, it will be one will be Web 2, one will be Web 3, but the same assets will be accessible on both sides. So I think it's something that will become more common to have ETF getting from all the chain, and you have a little like I would say like Binance is organizing ICO, you will have BlackRock organizing ETF for a lot of different blockchain. At the end, you need to choose wisely because you don't want one to fail at the launch, because that would be more or less a really bad signal from BlackRock and for the institutional finance regarding ETF and crypto. So right now you choose them specially, but after when they will have 10 or 15 of them, they will not care anymore. Even Quack can be there.
Okay. I'm not sure about the last one.
Yeah. Now, but what I mean is like it's a way to attract liquidity for BlackRock. So at the end, what people will be willing to buy will go there. At the moment, they take the safest one for regulation and all these things. But you know, the regulation in US probably will go down, and even with Trump, it will be facilitated. So why not? At the end, why not? I mean, like it's a way for people to move institutional assets into crypto.
What you say is interesting. BlackRock and Vanek and the others are not investing their own money. They're investing their customers' money. So if their customers say, their clients say, okay, guy, I want to buy EGLD. Okay, so they will create a UGLD ETF. So yeah, it's about this and regulation. You're right, of course.
Exactly.
About the regulation, we have a new name to replace Gary Gensler. At the as a the I don't know, the president of
The
SEC.
SEC. He will try to leave the country before that Trump arrive in power.
No, actually, he will dismiss. I don't know if we say dismiss. No,
Resign.
yeah, he will resign by the end of the year. Actually, we have the information, but Donald Trump is thinking about a women cryptocurrency lawyer, specialized expert lawyer. I saw this. Let me up SEC Trump.
I don't know, to be honest.
Let me check the post. Yes. So, breaking news: Donald Trump is considering replacing SEC Chair Gary Gensler with pro crypto lawyer Teresa Goody Gwillian. That's the name. It was announced a few hours ago. We also spoke about the CLO of Robinhood, Dan Gallagher. So yeah, there are many potential new president. So we'll see who will be there. But what is sure, he will be, or her, she will be pro crypto anyway. So that's the most important thing.
You need to go there. I mean, if you want to make a Federal Reserve in Bitcoin, you need to have someone on the SEC on his side. I mean, otherwise that will make things
Definitely.
complex and ugly.
Yeah. We have maybe two or three news that I will just mention. So because we don't have time to say more about it. We have Donald Trump that is considering buying a crypto platform backed with one of his holding the media company he has. Would be ready to buy this crypto platform. So the share of this media company is just pumping a lot, and the backed share also is pumping a lot. So that's interesting to see that Donald Trump spoke a lot about cryptocurrencies during the campaign, and now he's elected. He could have like forgot about this topic if he was not really interested in it, but actually he keeps doing things and announcing things that is really really pro crypto. So that's an interesting thing. And
Yeah, we'll add the news quickly with the flight
yeah.
of the Starship 6 yesterday. I mean, like,
Mhm.
for those who
Was it
didn't
a
watch the.
success or a fail? Because on TV they were saying that it was a fail, but I read on Twitter that actually it was a success. So do you know?
Alors, so it was more or less the same mission than the fifth. So to take off with two part, okay. The first part coming back at the station, and the second part flying and landing and crashing, water landing on the Indian Ocean. And this time they make more stress, so more speed into the re-entries module to test more like the thermic resistance, and also they remove some part of the thermic resistance to see if it was still working, and it worked quite nicely. The only unsuccess, if I can say, is like they didn't reland the booster on the main launch pad. Because they got some issues with some probes and some temperature, so they didn't took the risk. But at the end, they don't really care because it was supposed to be destroyed also because it was the old version that had been retested. And the next flight should be reusing like all the new technology, a new booster. And let's see, man. It's crazy what SpaceX is doing. Man. It's just crazy.
But he's a bad guy for
Yeah, I know, but they are vampires. They don't deserve what they are doing. I mean, like it's true. I mean, like us, I mean, something that makes me laugh. And after I will leave the stand. But people were complaining. Say, yeah, but Elon Musk is doing nothing. He's just a manager. Like he's not the engineer working on it. And in my mind, I was like, when I was working, I mean, if it was like 3 engineers and like 8 managers, maybe you could have get rid of the managers. Yeah. I mean, like, they have this mentality like Elon Musk is doing nothing. The guy is literally sleeping between the Raptor engine because he don't have time to go back home. Guys, just stop to complain and build your own rocket. Hello, Ahmed.
Hey guys, how are you?
hello Ahmed, and welcome to GM Web3 MultiversX, your second time here. It's always a pleasure to have you. Uh,
Likewise.
Before we move to your interview, I'd like to thank our second sponsor of the day, which is Wandex. So Wandex is a decentralized exchange on MultiversX that allows you to swap token to generate returns through liquidity pools, farming, staking, and so on. So I invite you to discover Wandex. I will send the link on the comment, and they are offering $25 in USDC. I think we'll see anyway. $25 worth of token, and all you have to do is to quote tweet the space link on Twitter. So, Ahmed, uh, last it was not last week, but the week before, we received Arno to explain us. No, it was last Tuesday actually to explain everything about the first native stablecoin on MultiversX, the Ash. He did a great job for the French-speaking people, but we had a lot of demand from the English-speaking people saying, and us. So that's why I invited you today to answer all of our questions, to understand perfectly what is Osh, what's the use, what are the mechanisms, and how will Osh help the multiverse ecosystem and so on. So I invite everyone here, if you have any question about the Hush. Now, during the interview, feel free to ask your questions in the comment. I will list them and I will ask them to Ahmed, who accepted to answer all the questions. Correct?
Of course, correct. And thank you very much for having me. And it will be like my pleasure to help, let's say, the community, everyone to understand more about USH. And yeah, of course, answer all questions.
Yeah, and we can mention first two things. First of all, you are a historical partner of GM Web3 MultiversX, and it's important for us to have such support. It's not just about Hatom, it's about communication, share information, interviews, critics sometimes, so the
Yeah.
MultiversX community can understand everything and can make their choice. We can say after due diligence. So, thank you for that. And the second thing is that you allocated a lot of resources for education with videos, with ambassadors, with the interviews, for example, today and last Tuesday for Arno. So we can read on the internet that sometimes Hatam is not doing marketing enough. Maybe we can speak about it, but what is important is in terms of education about the tools, about the assets, about the protocols, and so on. We have to admit that you allocate a lot of resource in this. So it's not just about selling your product, but about make it understandable. And after it's free to everyone to use it or not. Am I correct about the strategy to start this interview?
No, well, it is. It is actually because for us, it is important to build a good tech product that makes sense from an architecture and design point of view, product that are secure, but most importantly, we need to make sure that they're like accessible to users. So through our integration, we try to make the user interface and the user experience as simple and intuitive as possible, and at the same time work on the educational content. So through threads that explains each product, the benefit of it, how it can be used, up to different like videos that we are trying to share to make things more visual and more understandable somehow. So yeah, let's say that this is really important for us actually.
Thank you very much. So we can say that you brought DeFi on MultiversX. In my in the way I consider DeFi, uh, DeFi, in my opinion, is not just swapping tokens on chain. For me, but maybe I'm wrong. I had this discussion with Arno a few days ago. For me, DeFi is lending and borrowing. Okay, because in the traditional finance, when we speak about finance, it's about financing the economy by lending and borrowing. So you brought it on MultiversX with the Hatom protocol, and now you are bringing native stablecoins. And actually, we all agree that DeFi and native stablecoins are just necessary, maybe not sufficient, but necessary to complete MultiversX ecosystem. And we spoke about it during the MVX gathering last week. My first question is why you decided to launch this stablecoin, because it was actually not planned on the initial, the very first roadmap of Hatom.
Indeed. So to get back to you, like on all the points, so I would say that like DeFi isn't like resumed or doesn't stop only like at lending and borrowing. It's a whole. You see, like it includes any protocol offering decentralized finance activities. So through Hatom, our goal was to try to push and help the MultiversX ecosystem, provide our humble contribution, and yeah, try to help this aspect of the chain to strive because it is like essential for any blockchain to have like a flourishing DeFi ecosystem. In terms of usage, it wasn't present in our initial roadmap, but the need arises when we saw that there was a lack of stablecoin liquidity in the chain. So I think I'm able to share my screen, right?
Yeah, of course. You need to. I need to accept, but I will. So
All
no.
right.
should be okay now, and I will enlarge it so you can speak and we can see what you do right now.
Awesome. So what we noticed when we launched Hatom is that there was a huge need for stablecoin liquidity. So if we take a look at the lending protocol and the money markets of both like USDC and USDT, you can notice that the supply APY alone, without counting like the HM booster APY, offers nearly like 25% APY for supplying stables on both like USDC and USDT. So if we take a look at the details on the markets page, we will notice that those money markets have a huge utilization rate. What I mean by utilization rate is that a big portion of them is being borrowed by protocol users. So you can see that for USDC, 89% of the total supply has been borrowed. So practically the same for USDT. So there's like a huge demand on chain for those stablecoin liquidity. So people are supplying e-gold, for example, or other asset because they don't want to lose exposure to them, but they want to have access to the stablecoin liquidity to perform, you see, like purchases, long assets, like different use cases. So in our case, like for Hatom, what we tried to do in the past is to work on some marketing campaigns, actually. So we had like multiple partnerships and collaborations with different KOLs, wrote threads about the opportunities that are offered like on chain here. But still, even though we have put like huge efforts on those strategies, we weren't able to attract a huge amount of stablecoin liquidity. So the reasons can be like there could be like multiple reasons, but the most important ones are the fact that stablecoins are not native on MultiversX, and players outside of the ecosystem, they might not want to breach, you see, like their assets and use a broad version of USDC and USDT in the protocol. Others might be, let's say, limited by the bridge back limitations and the 50K limit per transaction that they have. So if they're bridging, you see, like for example, $1 million, and they want to bridge it back, they have some high fees, and the process takes so much time. And for them, like it's not like very practical. So there could be like diverse reasons, but the end result is the same. There is a lack of stablecoin liquidity on chain, and even though people are borrowing a lot of stablecoins and the borrow APY is pretty high, even borrowers, they don't want to repay their debt to put like more liquidity in the pools. So they are ready, you see, like to pay those borrow APYs and to be able to access the stablecoin liquidity. So for Hatom, what we try to do is to tackle this issue from a DeFi point of view, using like the resources that we had at hand. So what we decided to do is to create like a model where users will be able to leverage their assets on MultiversX, because most of the MultiversX users, they have like equal and they don't have like stable coin liquidity. So with USH, we are allowing them to put equal as collateral and to natively mint USH without any limitations in terms of supply, let's say. Because, for example, for USDC and USDT, there is a limit in terms of how much liquidity you can borrow. But for USH, as long as you put enough collateral, you will be able to mint the amount of USH that.
Okay, let's. If you agree, I will ask you different questions so it will be maybe easier for people to understand. Because I think I could let you speak for 1 hour, and thank you very much for this. But the first question, and you answered it perfectly, is why launch a stablecoin? And actually, you are monitoring the data from the protocol, and you noticed that there were a need, there were a demand, but not enough offer because of technical reasons, mostly actually because we are limited to 50K because we don't have centralized stablecoins yet on MultiversX. And so it was, can we say it was your role to fulfill this need? And was it, let me check how to say in English. I would like to be clear in my question. Was it to the detriment of something else on Hatom Protocol roadmap?
Not really actually. So, like first of all, I wouldn't say that it was our role to bring it or our responsibility, but for us, let's say, following our vision and our initiative to help the Multiverse X DeFi ecosystem thrive. So we judged that like we needed, you see, like to take care of this module and to make it available as soon as possible. So, but it didn't come at the detriment of other products. We have like a pretty vast and competent development team, and let's say that this allows us to work on multiple things at the same time. So, like in parallel with USH, we have been like exploring. You see, so other products such as Pulse that we teased in our protocol update, and like we will share more information about it like pretty soon on X, and also like working on, let's say, other implementations, other features, products too that we didn't disclose yet. So yeah.
Okay. Can you explain us in a very a simple way what's the difference between the current stablecoins and a native stablecoin? Because we want to be sure that it's clear for everyone.
So like what do you mean by the current stable coins? Are you referring like to
The
wrapped
wrapped one.
USDC, right?
The wrapped one.
So basically, let's say that it's pretty simple. Those stable coins are not like minted natively in the chain. So they are like bridged by a third party that is holding them in the chain where like they exist. So basically in the Binance Smart Chain on Ethereum, and offering like a wrapped version to the users like on MultiverseX. And if they want to bridge back, let's say that one wrapped USDC will always equal like one USDC on the other side too. For USH, it's a stablecoin that will be like natively, you see, like minted on chain here, like on MultiverseX, actually. So yeah, like the difference is
Uh,
also that.
it's clear, but what's the difference between them in terms of security? You spoke about the limits, and why we shouldn't maybe, I don't know, like increase the limit, for example. So why do we really need native stablecoin?
So those are like in terms of the limits, those are security parameters that are being put to try to control, let's say, the outflow of the stable coins and provide, you see, like enough time for the team behind the bridge to monitor the activity and take action in case they detect any anomaly. Let's say when we are talking about native stable coins, like for example, if people want to bring some USDC from different exchanges, like on MultiverseX, they're obliged to go through the bridge. And the process, I won't say is painful, but take some time. If they want to go back from MultiverseX, same thing. They need to go through the bridge. If USDC and USDT were brought natively, it means that they would have been able to be minted like directly to Circle to trader on chain and transferable. You see, like from the exchange to MultiverseX and from MultiverseX to exchange. So providing like way more flexibility and avoiding people to be like exposed to wrapped assets and any risk related to breaches, basically.
Okay, we make the difference between centralized and decentralized stablecoins. So centralized stablecoins are, we can say, the USDT, the USDC, and decentralized stablecoin, we can speak about maybe the DAI,
Yeah.
but there are many others. Can you tell us the difference between decentralized stablecoin and the centralized one, and what maybe are the advantages and the disadvantages of each, so everyone can understand what is it about?
So, like their name basically like described a bit. You see like their characteristics. So for decentralized stablecoins, they are managed by a centralized entity. So even though they have some audits that are performed like maybe monthly or annually too, there is a lack of transparency in terms of how much treasury they are holding in exchange of how much stable coins are being put into circulation. They have like more control on the stable coin. For some of them, they will be able to block, you see, like some addresses from being able to transfer the stable coins that are like present there. For the decentralized one, it's an approach that goes like more along with the vision of crypto, like in general. So decentralized stablecoins are not controlled by a centralized entity, but more through a governance module. For example, they have like way more transparency, so you'll be able to like at all time to check how much like stablecoin are minted and how much collateral is actually like backing them on chain. So those are the two main aspects, I would say. So control and transparency around them.
Okay. So let's deep dive in the different mint mechanisms. So first, how is hash? How to say ush, hash,
So,
USA?
so for us, like we have like two names that you are using. Like me personally, I always use like USH,
US.
but other team members are calling it like Ush. So yeah, both names can be used. That's why.
Okay, because ETH we read it, and BTC we read only the letters, so the two ways are good actually. Um, so how is USH created? What are the different mechanisms to mint and maybe burn at the other end of the road?
Sure. So there are like two ways to mint USH actually. So we have like USH integrated directly into the lending protocol, and then we created like a new module that we're calling the isolated pools, where USH could be minted. The difference between them is the collateral that could be used to mint USH basically. So on the lending protocol, users will be able to use SE Gold, stacked wrapped TAO, wrapped BTC, wrapped ETH, USDC, USDT, UTK to be able to mint USH with variable minting rates, which means that they are able to supply their collateral, earn the supply APY on it, any APY distributed to the booster, then they're able to mint USH at a fixed interest rate. So based on which collateral they are using, they will have a fixed rate, interest rate applied on the amount of USH they have minted. So this is the first like USH facilitator. The second one is through the isolated pool. So the particularity of this module is that only eGold and wrapped TAO could be used there to mint USH. So for the user, they are able to supply eGold and then mint USH at a 0% minting fee or borrowing APY and access the stablecoin liquidity. So like to keep it short, those are like the two ways on how you could be able to access the USH liquidity through Hatom.
Okay, thank you very much. And I remind everyone who is with us on the live that you can ask all of your questions in the comment, just to be sure that it's clear for you. Because to be honest, I already listened to this in French 1 week ago, so it's clear for me. So if it's not, or if you need more clarification or anything, feel free to ask in the comment, and of course we'll make it even clearer. Next question is about the peg. The biggest problems with stablecoin through the retail view actually is the depeg. It's when the stablecoin is not worth $1 in the majority of the case. So how does USH keep its peg with the dollar?
Sure. So we have what we call the soft peg mechanism and also the hard peg mechanism, basically. So for the soft peg mechanism, it happens like it protects, let's say, the peg of USH through arbitrage and the fact that USH is pegged to $1 on the lending protocol and in the isolated pool. So what I mean by arbitrage is that people who are looking for some financial profits will always monitor. You see, like the price of USH on the different LPs, and always work on trying to rebalance it to make some profit on both sides. So through this, let's say, approach, they will be able to protect the peg of USH. In addition to that, USH is pegged to $1 on both the lending protocol and on the isolated pool, which means that if USH was trading below peg, it will be like profitable, like below $1. It will be like profitable for borrowers to buy it from the open market and then repay their debt. So they could like buy, let's say, 100 USH for $98 and use that to repay like $100 of debt that they have in the lending protocol. So they made like a 2% profit basically on through this action. If USH is trading above peg, it will be like profitable for users to just like mint it at a value of $1 through the lending protocol and sell it on the different dexes at a higher value to make the difference in terms of profit. So through those two approaches, basically like USH will be able to retain its peg through what we call like the soft peg protection mechanism.
So
Then,
we can say it's a financial incentives that will keep the
yeah,
soft peg going, like with arbitrage, we can say.
exactly, yeah. Always like arbitrage to the different LPs and also through approaches through the lending protocol and the isolated pool.
Okay, what about the hard depeg?
So for the hard peg protection mechanism, so it gets activated when there is a hard depeg that is happening basically for USH, and it acts as a buffer that always guarantee that USH will be able to retrieve the peg value and go back to $1. So what happens is that the collaterals that are available in the isolated pool could be redeemed in exchange of USH that could be both from the different dexes. And through this buying pressure, basically, we are helping USH retrieve its peg. So we can say that the isolated pool acts as a big market maker, offering liquidity in exchange to people buying USH from the open market to help retrieve like the peg value. And I can go like more deeper into how it is happening. So we are calling like this mechanism the redemption. So the redemption, the redemption action, basically. So through the redemption, what happens is that people, anyone, could be able to interact with the smart contracts when USH has a big depeg based on the parameters that we are defined. They could provide, for example, 100 USH and retrieve a certain, like a portion of the collateral of the users that have supplied, basically like they're equal on the protocol. But for them to be able to get the USH, they need to buy it from the open market and to like to put buying pressure on the USH price, basically. The particularity of redemption, because like redemptions are different from liquidations. So on liquidations, when a user is in a position to get liquidated, someone could repay a portion of his loan and buy his collateral as a discount. For redemption, the process doesn't work, let's say, the same way. The collateral isn't offered at a discount, but the other way around. So to give like some numbers to understand this even better, let's suppose that USH like is depegged and $100 would buy you, let's say $100 would buy you 97 USH. So like you have $3 of difference basically. Once you go to the isolated pool and want to perform a redemption, you will be able to put those 100 USH and back $99.5 of e-gold collateral. So in the process, you are making $2.5 as a revenue, and the person on whom the redemption has been performed will gain $0.5, let's say, bonus through this redemption. So they will have a portion of their borrow that will be like decreased, and they will receive a bonus on their collateral because this redemption happened basically. And the process of redemption is, I won't say like more complex, but there are like multiple parameters that we put in place to make it like the most optimal possible. So when USH depegs, what we do at the smart contract level is that we calculate based on the size of the LP, how much USH is needed to be able to help it like regain the peg. And that amount alone is the only one that could get redempted basically, that could go through the redemption. So if USH depeg, you can't just like buy all the collateral or perform a redemption on all the collateral that is available in the isolated pool, but only the required portion to help USH trigger in the peg, basically. I hope that it is clear. Otherwise, we can go through some more like specific questions about like the process.
Okay. Because we last week we had questions about the Luna crash, and of course, people wants to be sure that it won't happen with the Ash, because we can hear algorithmic stablecoin. Some says that it's not algorithmic; it's incentive stablecoin. And so, can you maybe tell us how what happened to Luna will not happen on Ash, and how you built the thing so it will never happen?
Like the first reason is that the two models are completely different. There is no similarities between them, besides the fact that they both have, you see, like a token that is called, you see, like a stable coin that is minted. So for Luna, it's an algorithmic stable coin. When we say like algorithmic, it means that the stable coin is able to protect its spec through algorithms and smart contract logic. In our case, we are an over-collateralized stablecoins, which means that at any point in time, we will always have more collateral backing the stablecoin than what has been minted and put in circulation, basically. So through the lending protocol, whenever reaches like the maximum of his borrow limit, he is able to get liquidated, and anyone is incentivized to come repay USH on his behalf and liquidate his position to be able to make some profits through this action, to keep like a healthy state for USH, and to always keep, you see, like the amount of USH circulating always backed by a higher amount of collateral put. And then we have like the redemption mechanism that I just like explained, which come as an additional buffer to protect, you see, like the USH and its spec, basically. So like through the redemption, the isolated protocol will act as a sort of market maker that will always guarantee you that if you have like USH, you will be able to get, you see, the equivalent in collateral through this process, basically. So yeah, the two models are completely different, and like it's just like impossible for something like similar to USD to happen to USH.
Yeah, because we have to remember that the Terra Luna ecosystem was between the token Luna and the stablecoin UST, and both were linked the way that the more you mint Luna, the more you mint UST, and the less you mint, and so on. And so these two assets were linked, and when one was attacked, the other one was attacked. And so it's a bit different uh, 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 that what you are building at the moment. But it's important to remind this, and it's true that since the Luna crash, algorithmic stablecoin is like seen like a red flag, and everybody thinks about Luna. So that's why maybe it's not the good word. USH is not an algorithmic stablecoin. Okay, it's
For Luna
important.
2, like they were offering some unsustainable yields that no one was aware, like from where they were coming, basically. So even the approaches are totally different. So in our case, what we are trying to do through the implementation of USH is to create like an over-collateralized one, a solid model, make sure that it is secure, but most importantly, work on the different products to make sure that USH will be liquid and increase its use cases. So what we are doing through our approach is, besides building the isolated pool and the lending protocol, is also like building a staking module. So for the staking module, it is a really important product for USH, and a pretty simple one to understand. So USH will increase the revenue generation of Hatom. We will generate like additional revenue through the lending protocol, but also through the isolated pool. So a small portion of that revenue will always be used to cover or help complete the incentives that we are distributing on the lending protocol, to not rely on our treasury and always distributing from the revenue being generated from Hatom. But 90% of the revenue that USH will be generating will be redistributed on this staking module on the LPs of USH eGold, USH USDC, and USH USDT. So the goal through this approach is to incentivize people to make USH more liquid. and to create those LPs basically. And for them, there is like a huge financial incentives actually to this approach, because we are allowing them to create like an LP with exchange or a swap to boost the LP like through like the farm or dual farm, for example. So they will be like generating all the trading APR through exchange or the bonuses that they're offering. And on top of this, they will be able to stake that receipt token that represent like the farm position into the USH taken and earn maybe like an even higher yield through the revenue that USH is offering. So for them, like it's really a way to optimize the revenue that are generated through their asset, and at the same time participating in making USH more liquid, actually.
Okay, very very clear. Let's move to the next question about how. Imagine I am a very simple user of a Hatom protocol. I'm not very connoisseur about DeFi. How do I use USH? You told me how to mint. Okay, so now I have USH. So in an individual like me or a project point of view, how do I use USH in Hatom ecosystem and on MultiversX ecosystem?
The use cases are diverse and they depend on the specific need of the user. So from our side, as we said, like at the beginning, what we're trying to do is to simplify like the understanding and the possibilities through different like educational contents, through threads, but also explanatory videos. So for a user, it allows you to access a stablecoin liquidity without having to sell your e-gold, for example, to perform, you see like a short or let's say a long strategy to get like LPs, to just like perform purchases, to use it on different other applications or protocols that are like integrating USH. So it mainly depends on the user need. But for us, what we are trying to do is to try to make it simple to understand for them and to simplify basically like the process on minting USH and how it can be used, basically.
For maybe for a project, I read in the internet, and of course
Yeah.
Anu explained me that it will be interesting to have this native stablecoin because it will be the opportunity not to sell the GLD, and so it will reduce the selling pressure on the cryptocurrency of MultiversX. And maybe for the project they will be able to create pools and to pair with USH instead of EGLD, so it can be interesting for them too. Maybe can you develop this part of utilities for the USH?
Indeed. So USH like is not only a stablecoin, but it is not like only tackling, let's say, the stablecoin liquidity issues on MultiversX, but it comes with multiple benefits for the whole ecosystem, but also like for projects, basically. So starting like by the ecosystem right now, what we can notice, for example, like I'm trying to show like my screen again. If we go like to exchange, for example, what we will see is that all of the LPs are paired with eGold. So we have like Mexi Gold, HM Gold, Foxy Gold, Ash Gold, Ethereum Gold, and so on. So which means that there is a huge selling pressure on eGold. Whenever someone wants to sell a token and exit the ecosystem, it goes through basically like the token eGold sent to exchanges, or the token eGold then eGold USDC. So basically to this approach, there's like a huge selling pressure that is applied on eGold. And this was like the same case for Ethereum and Uniswap back in the days. So all the LPs were paired with Ethereum and it was like negatively impacting it. Then what they did is that they transitioned in terms of trying to create the LPs paired with stable coins mostly. So with USH and the launch of USH, this is what we will be able to allow projects to do. So instead of having their LP created with eGold and linking at the same time like the market of their token and the price of it with eGold, they will be able to pair their token with USH. So the benefits of this is that this will create an alternative route for those tokens to exit the ecosystem. So the new route will look like token USH and then like USH USDC or USH USDT, avoiding to put this additional selling pressure on eGold. And in addition to that, like for the project, it will be a way for them to have an independent market for their token. Because like right now, if eGold price goes up, their token go up. If eGold price go down, their token go down. But it's the same thing for eGold too. Like if the token with which eGold is paired goes up, it will drag eGold forward. But if it goes down, it will drag like eGold downward too. So it will be like beneficial for both eGold and the project to have their LP separated from eGold, to have their independent market basically, and a real price and economy for their token. So yeah, like eGold will be like quite beneficial for project. We are already like in touch with different like projects in the ecosystem that are interested to create like their LPs with USH, and let's say that they understood the potential of USH, the benefit for their project, and our vision is starting to get shaped, let's say. So yeah, I would say that there are like multiple benefits, and those are like the two biggest ones for both like eGold and the projects.
Okay.
If I may, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Ahmed. I mean, for all the explanation. I mean, it's quite complex. I mean, I think it's hard to catch. I mean, I think people would have to re-listen, and but I love the product. I think it's something really important for the ecosystem, like you said multiple times. Like, what would be your advice for any users at the moment to be kind of ready for the launch of Hush? And what token they will need, in fact, if they want to benefit the best of the different yield and the different mechanism that will be set up in the early stage of Hush. That could be something interesting, maybe to know if do I need Atom, do I need eGold, do I need like all these different elements. I think the users will be really inclined to know about that. I think myself too.
So I would say that my first advice would be to really take time to understand very well how USH is working. On our side, we are ready to assist. So we have made available like multiple educational videos, threads, and so on. But we are also available to answer like any questions directly on the Telegram group. So it's a way to directly like talk to us, answer any question that you had in mind, something that wasn't clear to you, for example. So that would be like the first thing, to understand how USH is working and what are like the different strategies and opportunities that are like available. And they can like even start to try them on the testnet. I mean the devnet, to try to see how the process will look like and what actions they will need to perform and so on. But then in terms of strategies that I would recommend, like to be honest with you, it depends. You see, like what the user is looking for, what asset he already has, what interests him. You see, so there are like multiple things that could be done, from creating like different LPs, from trying to create some strategies to long assets to USH. So it really depends on the personal needs and the personal like situation of each user.
Okay, and another thing that I have in mind, because like I've been said at the very beginning, there's a lot of contents that have been created on X, a lot of posts, maybe video also on YouTube, if I'm not wrong, with different influencers. Do you have at the end a documentation? I would say kind of the docusaurus, like a MultiversX, that make a resume of the different approach, the different pools, the different architecture of LPs. Do you have something already like that in the pipe, or it's already there maybe?
Yes, of course. So we already have some documentation that has been like published in our doc section, and we are like also preparing, you see, like a more detailed and in-depth documentation that will be made live pretty soon, actually. So way before the launch of USH on mainnet.
Oh, great. Looking forward to it. I mean, and that will be from the user perspective, like regarding the integration. I guess it will come also a little later when the stuff will be more established.
Exactly. So for us, we are also like available through our developer group.
Fair.
So there, our tech team is also able to answer like any question, assist developers in terms of integrating USH or building like on top of it to take care of redemptions, liquidations, or just like build a product using USH. So yeah, like some APIs files have already been shared there, and we are like always available.
No, it's
It's on that
it's fine.
front.
It's fine. Thanks.
Thank you very much, guys. Um, let's move to the next question, and we'll speak about the MultiversX ecosystem in general. We all say that we lack of native stablecoins. So concretely, how will USH help the MVX ecosystem? And the second question is how the MVX Foundation maybe helped you, supported you, or how what's your relation? Because you're bringing this first native stablecoin, which is required and very necessary for the ecosystem to expand.
Sure. So I would say that we have like a pretty good relationship with the foundation. We are like pretty close to them. We constantly like discuss about our strategies, the plans that we have in terms of development, what we are preparing, and they are like providing as much help as they can on their side too. So right now, like for example, we are working on the liquidity provision aspect. So our go-to-market strategy. Through this strategy, what we do is that we discuss with big players in the ecosystem, from staking providers to project owners to e-gold holders, big e-gold holders. And what we will have is a private mainnet launch where the foundation and all those players will supply liquidity initially, preparing for the launch, increasing the TVL, but most importantly, allowing us to start generating revenue that will be distributed in the staking module from day one after the launch. So this is very important because it will allow us to have all the modules of USH working at full potential and completing the ecosystem that we have created to incentivize. You see, like from day one, the creation of the LPs through the yields that will be distributed in the staking module. So from the foundation, they are like really helpful, and we have like some good relationships with them actually. And in terms of USH itself, let's say that the main goal or one of the main goals of USH was to leverage, you see, like the liquidity that we already have on chain to tackle these stablecoin liquidity issues. Because, like, let's face it, most of our users, like the e-gold community, like they hold e-gold. They don't hold much stables, and no one wants to sell their e-gold because we all believe in the upside potential of it. So USH provides a way to access like this stablecoin liquidity while keeping exposure to your e-gold asset. But for the other, let's say like USDT, USDC, USH will also participate in terms of attracting some additional liquidity through the staking module, for example. So we will like incite people to create like LPs with both like USDC and USDT and USH to come and try to farm, you say, like the yields that we'll be offering. So it will like an indirect way to attract this stablecoin liquidity. But something like really important on which we will be like working after the launch of USH is a marketing campaign specifically targeting the BitDancer community. So right now, what we did initially is we have like bridged or created like a bridge from BitTensor to MultiversX to allow, you see, like the TAO holders to be able to access DeFi, because right now what they were able to do is just to sell or buy TAO. But through the integration on Hatom, what they are able to do is to take advantage of new DeFi opportunities. So use TAO as collateral to be able to borrow stables, long, short assets, or even like perform leverage liquid staking. But there was like a limit in terms of the possibilities that were like available on Hatom at some point, like where's the limit of stablecoin liquidity. So for them, it wasn't like profitable to come bridge TAO and then like borrow stables at 30% borrow APY for example. So with the release of USH, we will remove these limitations and these blockers, let's say. So they will be able to bridge their asset, use it as collateral, and mint the amount of USH that they want, getting like real access to more stablecoin liquidity. So we'll have like a heavy campaign that will be held, and we believe that we'll be able to attract a quite significant amount of Raptao bridged into MultiversX through this approach.
Okay, Philip, maybe you want to ask a question.
No, nothing special. I mean, I think the message have been mixed with the other one. No, nothing in mind. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Ahmed, for this answers. We have a few questions in the comment and in a private message, so I will ask you them. Um, is USH intended to be used as a pair outside of MultiversX, such as on a centralized exchange or other blockchains? It's an important question because at the moment, if we want to leave MultiversX ecosystem, we need to swap to UGLD or maybe UTK, which is listed on Binance. And so it's, of course, very limited. So, what's your strategy in terms of listing on a centralized exchange to bring people into the MultiversX ecosystem and to be able to live and calm and so on? This is what brings liquidity, because liquidity providers. They want to be able to come, they want to be able to leave, they want to be able to come again and so on. This is what makes the liquidity arrive in an ecosystem, in my opinion.
No, I agree. Let's say that for us, the goal is to expand like usage as much as possible and to make sure that it is like accessible, like everywhere. Like this is the goal. So for sure, like as a first step, what we want to do is to first like launch it to make sure that everything is stable, to increase like the liquidity on chain, and then as a second step, when the first one has been achieved, to start like on the like to start working on the exchanges integration to make it available wherever we can. And at the same time, through our approach, so as you know, in our roadmap, the next step for Hatom is the blockchain, like, or let's say the cross-chain expansion. So to build all the different products and to deploy them on other chains. And USH will also be one of them. And through this integration, we'll also make like USH natively available in the chain where Hatom will be like expanding to. So for sure, this is something that we aim to work on too.
Okay, thank you for this. We also have another question. At the end, why I cannot mint USH with any ESDT instead of only EGLD? I will correct. It's not just EGLD, it's EGLD, Tau, and the liquid staked tokens, correct?
So partially, like you will be able to use or to mint like USH with the different assets actually. So on the isolated pool, like as we said, we have two ways to mint USH: one through the isolated pool and one to the lending protocol. So on the isolated pool, you will be able to use like only equaled and wrapped out to mint USH, and at a 0% minting fee. Then on the lending protocol, you will be able to use all the other assets. So SE Gold, Stack Wrapped Out, Wrapped BTC, Wrapped ETH, HTM, USDC, USDT, and UTK to mint USH. But this time, it will have a minting APY. And each collateral used will have a different minting APY, basically. Am I able to share my screen again?
Sure. I will display it here and enlarge. Let's go, bro. I will remove this and okay.
All right, so here you see that we have the lending protocol, then we have USH pool. Once you click on it, you have like the different assets that are available to be used to mint like USH. On top of those, we will also have SE Gold and Stack Wrapped Tau. The difference between this approach and the isolated pool is that here we have what we call a variable. minting APY. We are like saying variable because like the minting APY will change depending on which collateral is being used to cover your debt in USH. So for example, if you use like wrapped USDC, the minting APY, for example, here like on the DevNet, those are like just some mock values, is 3.58%. If you use like USDT, it's 4.09%. And if you have like multiple collaterals, we will always use the collateral offering like or give like the priority to the collateral offering the best rates, and then cover the rest of the debt with the other collateral that will offer like the rate that will follow, basically. So this is like the difference between the two. Here you can use like all the SDTs available to mint USH with a borrow APY. And on the isolated pool, you can use either equal or wrapped TAO to mint USH at a 0% minting fee. Clear?
Yes, very clear. Let me remove it now. Let me know if you need again to display your screen. Okay, so I think it's that's all. That's all the questions we have. Let me check one last time to be sure.
Sure.
When USH is out, can same module be used to have other stables? It is just a matter of getting the necessary collateral. That's interesting. Will you make like a white brand of your protocol to allow other people to issue their own stable coins, like open source protocol?
So for us, like we are always striving to make the code open source too. There's like a step that we need to go through is to make sure that everything is stable, everything like is secure, to be able to go, let's say, through this process. So this is what we did for liquid staking, for example. Once we were confident enough about like the product that it was like secure enough, we have made it. You see, like public and open source. So same thing will happen like in the future for the lending protocol, the different modules, and USH too. So yeah, it's also like in the pipeline, and it will come in like in due time.
Okay. If I may, Ahmed, I have a question regarding the Sol protocol because I think it's something that's really important in your strategy. I mean, like, and regarding the minting also of other token and the way that you maybe want to keep like that open source or at least like permissionless somehow. Let's see how far we go with that. I mean, but do you plan on using maybe the Sol protocol on top of that to access other chain? Because you still, I think in any case, if Hush is minted on MultiversX, we'll have the problem with the bridge. So that's something that is out of your hand, and more discussion will come with the foundation. But you have also the opportunity maybe to use the Sol protocol when it will be there. I mean, somehow to extract the liquidity and the value to other protocols without the bridge. In fact, with your own bridge, if I can say, is it something that you take in consideration a lot in your expansion? Or at the moment is just the second choice compared to the opening of the bridge of the foundation?
Sure. So like for Sol, of course, like this is something that we are like exploring, like the integration in due time with MultiversX and building it like on top of Hatom. And the integration of Sol will be like quite powerful because what Sol allows you to do is to access the liquidity of different chains, but also the liquidity and the opportunities of different other protocols. So through Sol, users will be able to supply the asset, like to take on or to follow up on your example, to supply their asset on Hatom on MultiversX, take advantage of all the yields that Hatom is offering, plus any additional incentives that Sol might offer, and instantly be able to take out loans of different assets on different chains or any other protocol that is integrated without the need to have like any collateral supplied there. So it allows you to take advantage of liquidity of other chains, but also of the advantages. So for example, you could supply like your equal here and use it as collateral, then take a loan from Aave on Polygon because Aave on Polygon is the one, like is the protocol offering the best yields for borrowing USDC, for example. So yeah, I think that the integration will be like quite powerful for Hatom, but for any chain and any protocol that we decide to integrate like from day one, it could literally be a game changer in terms of connecting liquidity and accessing DeFi opportunities.
I agree entirely. I mean, that's looking forward to have that live, guys. Looking forward.
It might come like pretty soon. Actually, it might come like pretty soon. So
Yeah.
we have some exciting things prepared on that front too.
Looking forward to it, guys. Well done.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. I have a few left questions for you, but not about Ash, Ahmed.
Of course.
We are on MVX meme season at the moment. You could not see on Twitter. Even the core team posted about that, and everybody is speaking about Bober, Quack, and many others I'll not mention since I don't know them pretty well. What's your position about meme coin? Do you uh, what do you think about it, like sincerely? And second, uh, do you plan, guys, to make partnerships or maybe to build any tools, anything around the memes to participate into this movement on MultiversX?
So for us, like to be completely honest, I don't hold like any meme coin. I've never bought some at all. It's great to see that the community is gathering like around some different, you see, like initiatives and so on. For me, what I think is that it's an unstable market. You see, like it's exactly like similar to gambling. So at the end, there isn't like any real utility, and at any point in time, like the market of those tokens could literally crash. You see, like it's also I would say like attracting liquidity that could have been used on other project, but at the end, like everyone is free to do as they please. For us, like in terms of integration, this would like constitute a too huge risk for the protocols if they were integrated, for example, as collateral, because their market is unstable, and if at some point the price crashes, you see, like in a short period of time, well, the positions using them as collateral might not be liquidated, and this could represent, you see, like a risk for the protocol, and the position might come like unhealthy. So yeah, like it's a movement, and like people will always do as as they please. Like you can't control that.
I wanted to see some quash, but
Some what? So some crash?
some quash, like I'm quackush, like I
I
want
don't
to
know.
meet some ush with quacks,
Oh, okay.
and you get a key ush. I'm the kush. No, whatever. Sorry.
So no partnership, no tool around meme coins for the moment on the.
I don't think like any tools, and for us, we can't risk. You see, like because they can do good, and it's a good thing. Like we hope that they all like perform well, but if something happen, we can link, you see, like the protocol to that basically. At the end, like it's a sort of gambling, and
I mean,
we can't like promote that.
you're entirely right. I think stay away from that. I mean, like it's not something you cannot base, and even less on early stage. You cannot go for that. I mean, like it could be something fun on the side. If you represent 1% of the entire supply you provide, but otherwise, at the moment, in any case, it's not the point.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a last question for you, Ahmed. Um, let's speak about soul for the last question, because you know people knows Hatom. They are getting to know USH, but they heard about Soul a few months ago, and I noticed that you were accepted in Astra Reason Incubator, part of six other projects, I think. Six, I think. Well, anyway, can you maybe tell us how things are going with Soul, and maybe remind in a few words what is a Soul protocol, because it's the same team that is building, not team founders, because two different teams, but the same founders that are building Hatom Protocol and Soul Protocol. And it will be my last question.
Sure. So, in a few words, I would say that Sol is a cross-chain lending protocol, and how we like to describe it as a layer X plus one cross-chain lending protocol. What I mean by layer X plus one is that Sol will be built on top of other existing lending protocols and tap in directly into their liquidity and into their user base. So users will be able to supply on Aave through Sol and borrow, let's say, supply some ETH and take some loan like from Compound on Arbitrum. Everything will happen in a native manner, and there is like no bridges involved. And this approach has never been done before. So how it is working is that we use interoperability technologies such as layer zero, XLR, P squared, wormhole, and so on, like Chainlink 2, to send messages from one chain to the other to keep track of the position of the user and to allow him to perform interactions. So if I were like to summarize Soul, this is how I would like define it. Everything's going like pretty well on that front. We've been like building it from more than 1 year and a couple of months, actually like nearly like 1 year and a half. We already reached a pretty advanced stage of the development. So we have completed the development of all the smart contracts on like the Avalanche, Arbitrum, Ethereum, and Polygon testnets. Everything has been deployed there. We have like a fully working proof of concept. We already like integrated both like layer zero, XLR, working like on Chainlink, already like integrated wormhole too. The goal is to try to have like the testnet ready pretty soon, I would say, pretty soon.
Before
So
the end of the year.
not before the end of the year, but like it won't take long in the year of 2025 for it to be live on testnet, actually. So everything's going like pretty well on that front, and it's a pretty promising protocol that will be able to benefit you see like Hatom a lot afterward, because we will be able to integrate it on top of the Hatoms that will be deployed on different chains too, to link like between them and the liquidity of other protocols and other chains.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You, and we welcome Joaquim to speak about xCities. Joaquim, hello. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good yourself. I even changed background as you can see.
Oh yeah, it's
Um,
very,
yeah,
very, very beautiful.
thank
Maybe
you.
before to set Ahmed free, maybe you have a word or a question for Ahmed.
Just to keep building. I think they're doing great for the ecosystem, and I look forward to what is coming next. So I know you've got a lot of things in your pipeline. Must not be easy, but yeah, keep going.
Thank you very much, Joachim, and really appreciate that. On our side, we can guarantee you that we will always keep working, keep moving forward, and pushing hard to help you see like the ecosystem thrive as much as we can.
I'm glad to hear. And you should come to X London. Is my last comment. Which, by the way, you're a sponsor of, so thank you very much for that as Hatom. So
Well,
we
our
look forward
pleasure.
to showcasing DeFi to Londoners and people that are coming.
Will someone from Hatom be there?
I think so. I think that not myself, like personally, but multiple team members will be attending like the event, and hopefully, I will be able to attend like the next one too. So we are like going through a pretty like busy period on all fronts, but as soon as things get like stabilized, we will have, I would say, like a bit of free time to also participate and be present there.
That's good to hear. And yeah, we'll hopefully soon announce where the next stop will be.
Awesome.
I hope you will lick it here today.
No, sadly not.
Classic
Okay.
Jean.
Of course. Thank you very much, Ahmed, for coming this morning on GM MultiversX. Thank you very much. Keep
Thanks, Ahmed.
building. Take care of yourself. Wish you all the best for the next steps. And yeah, you will come back. I hope maybe for the final release of. Of the USH. Oh, last question, just in a second. You launched the beta. We can testnet. Yeah, testnet is the appropriate word for the USH. So how things are going? The feedback, is it okay? Did you find any big trouble in the code or so on? This is a question that we have last week, and I think it's interesting to answer this before I really set you free.
Like we launched it like multiple weeks ago. Since then, like it's been going pretty well. To be honest with you, we are like pretty satisfied with the work there, and also like the engagement of the community. We had like a lot of users active on the DevNet, and it was like we were happy to see like the engagement from the community. So on the smart contract level, there was no issue at all that was detected. So everything was working as expected. We received a lot of feedback from the community, propositions in terms of how we could like improve the user experience, and we also worked on implementing. You see, like what made sense to us, because like the goal at the end is to make like the experience you see like intuitive for the users and as simple as possible. So no issue at all on the smart contract level. Feedback gathered from the community, and a lot of them have already been applied actually. So yeah, things have been going well. Going over pretty well.
And when when the release?
Oh,
You
that's a good question.
ask this question.
From our side, like we are not yet in a position to provide, you see, like a precise timeline. What I can assure you is that everyone on the team, like BD side, but also like the tech side, everyone like is pushing really hard, working like nonstop, working like during the weekends too, late at night to try to reach that state. You see, like as soon as possible. So we already like started the discussion with the liquidity providers. We are receiving a lot of support on that front, even like from projects on the ecosystem that are like willing to take part in this initiative. And yeah, like we're making some really great progress on that front. So that will be like our next step. You see, like kickstarting the private mainnet release, and at that moment there will be like a 30 days countdown for the big mainnet release, like for the community to participate too.
Okay,
So
last question. I'm sorry because I stopped in my private message, and it's an important question. When the definitive documentation about the USH, since the one that is online is not updated actually.
So we are aiming to have it live pretty soon, like before the launch or at the launch of the private mainnet release. So once we will go live with it, the documentation will be updated there, and yeah, everything will be like available. And at the same time, like I really insist on the fact that we are available on the developer group. So if anyone wants to reach us or to the tech team directly, please don't hesitate. Like you are like one message away from contacting us, basically, and we will be glad to assist you in anything you are building, or if you have any question, basically.
What's the best way to reach you? So on the Twitter or on Telegram?
On Telegram, mostly. Like on Telegram, we are like very active. So all the tech
Send
team
me
is
the link
there.
of the
On,
Telegram in private, and I will add it to the description of the video and the audio podcast. Okay.
yeah, of course, of
Thank
course.
you very much, Ahmed. Thanks a lot, and have a very good rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Bye, Ahmed. Good luck.
Guys, bye bye.
Bye. Thank you very much, Philip, and Joaquim for being there this morning. Joaquim, I think it's your first time as a guest on GM Web3, correct?
I think it is actually, yes.
We'll cook him today.
Exactly. I'm terrified. Also, I had to change the mirror sitting on the camera so the X London was written the right way, and I've never seen my face in that way. So yeah,
How do you find it?
strange.
Okay. Welcome, Joachim. So today you're not here to speak about Gaupa Labs because, of course, when there will be things to say about Gaupa Labs, you will be welcome
Indeed.
on GM Web3. But now,
You'll just have to plan 5 hours the time I actually come to talk about Gaupa.
okay, we'll try to make it shortly. But yeah. So let's speak about xCities. My first question. No, first, before we start, I would like to thank the third sponsor of this edition of GM Web3 MultiversX. It's the OG project, the I think it's the older live NFT project on MultiversX, which is EAPS. They recently announced that they were launching a collection of 3,030. 333 anyway 3333 NFTs on Solana to explore new horizons, and they are offering $25 in their token, the EAPS token. And all you have to do to try to win is to quote tweet the X Spaces link, and I will send on the comment their website so you can discover what they are building at the moment. And yeah, thank you very much to Hatom, Wandex, and EAPS to support GM Web3 MultiversX. It's very important for us to be supported by projects and to keep our 100% independent on the way that we say things and we critique some other things. It's very, very important for us. So Javier is say from JExchange says you are asymmetric.
Yeah, I think we all are. I hope we all are. If not, it would be a bit worrying.
I think we are all asymmetric, and
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is beautiful in the face, like two symmetrical faces like robots. So it's not something great. Let's see how Philip is asymmetric too.
Damn it! It's early for everybody, you know. I mean, I didn't sleep a lot
Yeah.
the last days. I mean, like, I'm not ready for that. I can zoom. I think I saw a
Spotlight.
study that say if you are totally symmetrical, the brain like take like a strange feelings. For example, if you put a mirror on your face, you know, and you symmetrical your picture in two, the brain have a strange information, and you understand that the picture is fake. You need to have
Yeah,
asymmetric, but your brain consider the picture real. That was an important lesson at Pixar, I think.
and a lot of things with the uncanny valley. You know, when something starts looking like a human but is not yet really there, is
Exactly.
because they have a tendency to being too symmetric or too perfect in certain features, which again triggers us negatively.
Exactly. I mean, like we said, it's easier to draw something that doesn't exist that makes something that's resemble to existing thing.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's move
Blind
to
spot.
X London, the first edition of xCities. So first of all, Joaquim, who are you?
So who am I? That is the
First
$10,000
time.
question.
No, you
No,
know what? I prepared this interview with very short question. Who are you? You will see. My question will be very short.
so I'm Joaquim, CEO and co-founder of Gaupa Labs, but also co-founder then of xCities, a new movement that has come to MultiversX to raise awareness about blockchain. And then I am also advisor for quite a few projects on my spare time, which is not that much.
Okay, sounds good. And you're pretty involved in many other projects, but by not saying it, so you're hidden.
Indeed, I work in the shadow.
Okay. Second question: who's behind xCities? Because you're the co-organizer, but there are many others. Who can you? Which name can you reveal?
Indeed, we are a team of four, which is expanding, and we are also have very good relationships with other builders that help us. But the four founding members are Civi from xCards, Offhead Harry, lead head of Divergent and working closely with Project X, obviously. Tom, who is the CEO of Philanthropy, and myself.
Okay. Only great guys. So
Exactly.
guys and girls, you see what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
And shoot out to them. So how did the idea come about,
So
and
the
when?
idea, yeah, it's actually been worked for a while, because there was obviously a grant application and designing it how it would work, for us to organize it. And what we came to realize is we all love X Days. We all love X Days, but the biggest part why we love X Days is because we meet up as a community and we have a good time. Um, Obviously, we also come here for the speeches, etc. But they are very technical. So for a regular, let's say, Web2 user, he would find it extremely boring. I use the Apple Keynote as example. if you've never heard about Apple and you go to Apple keynote, you would be like, what's the difference between the new MacBook Pro and the old MacBook Pro? You know what I mean? Like, that's not, you want to know what a MacBook Pro is in the first place. So this is not sponsored by Apple, by the way. And so we thought, like, how can we actually bring adoption? How can we create a new format that is fun for the community to attend to, but also open enough for newcomers that are curious about blockchain? If they're students or professionals that want to learn a bit more about the technology, how can they do that in a fun and safe environment? So that's how xCities came to be. And obviously, since 3 of the founders are in the UK, it became X London for the first event. But the concept is meant to go worldwide at some point.
Okay. Why London for the first edition?
So it's quite interesting to see that. So we've had X Day obviously in Paris, in Bucharest, in Munich, and soon to be in Seoul. I wanted the XA Barcelona, but I'm still waiting for that. But London is a massive capital of finance, of fintech. We have a lot of the big fintech companies who are in the UK. Regulation is a bit different, obviously, than the rest of Europe since they left the European Union. Pros and cons is another topic. But it does attract quite a lot of similar minds, and we see that we have very well implemented all the blockchains in the UK. I'm going to take the example of Solana, which has their own super team UK, and are organizing events very often. And we were like, why haven't we had a single like MultiversX appearance in the UK to raise awareness about it? Because we know that MultiversX is especially strong in Romania and in France, and more effort should be put in other countries. And obviously, we live, 2 of us live in London, and the rest not too far away. So it also makes logistics easier.
What's the program of this edition? I don't know if you already announced it, but what is sure is what we don't like in conferences. I think we went to dozens of them, and we know what we don't like. So, in which way X London will be different as the other conferences, and what's the program?
So again, what kind of like differentiates from a regular conference is the audience. We're not talking about people already convinced. We're not trying to sell something. We're just trying to educate on technology, and we use MultiversX as an example of blockchain technology. So obviously, at the start, it is most of it is going to be pedagogic, but it's going to be in interactive ways, which is something that we often miss at conferences, and that's why we capped the event at 100 persons to make sure that there is enough interaction with the public. And we've also split the community and Web2 or students separately to make sure we have a bit of each. But yeah, so there's going to be workshops which are interactive. We also working with who you know very well, the Riddle Brothers, to organize some a fun like treasure hunt, as we would call it, across the 2 days related to blockchain and with prizes, of course. So workshops with existing projects, so they can understand how they use blockchain technology to make a difference. Also talks, but with a much more active interaction with the participants.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And which guests, which speakers, and which sponsors maybe you want to mention today?
So we'll start with the sponsors. I'm going to try not to forget anyone. Our main sponsor is Xoxno, who's also offering their ticketing solution, which has been honestly working extremely well. And and also the team responds quite quickly as soon as we have some feedback on stuff that could be different. So honestly, not great solution. Looking forward to it being more easily available for people to use for their own events. And what's better than telling someone, yeah, well, you're doing a conference about blockchain and the ticket uses blockchain technology? Because for too long, we've had Web3 conference and it's like, yeah, buy a ticket on this Web2 platform. So that is a big step. And then we have Hatom, we have Project Higgs, we have Bobber, we have X cards, obviously Fantrify, Gaupa Labs, and Divergence, but through us. We have Incal Tech with JackChange, eCompass, and Middle Staking. We have Dinovox. I feel like I'm forgetting people, so if I have forgotten you, sorry. We'll have all your logos very present all over the event. But just want to say thank you very much to all of them for entrusting us in this Genesis event, because obviously it is the first event, so there is no standard that has been set. And obviously we received the grant from X Alliance, which also helped this make it possible. The reality is it's still an event organized with a low budget, because organizing something of that scale in London is extremely expensive. So as Tom was saying yesterday, there's been a lot of negotiations to be able to get the things we wanted and be able to organize a fun event for everyone.
Okay. And the last question, where will the next edition take place?
So it hasn't been announced yet. We are in discussion with several people, because one of the concepts of xCities is that we are the ones starting it, but we are only 4 people, probably soon more. Our goal isn't to organize all of them. We create the impulse, but this is a community-driven concept. So we want you to reach out to us and say, okay, myself and 5 other people, we live close to this big city. We want to organize X, this big city name. What is required? And then and that's why we start with London, to have a template. We will have a template of the standards that needs to be met for the event. Also, how to apply for a grant through X Alliance, and how to get sponsorship. And then have one of us at least travel to that event to help them. So we want ideally to have, I want to say, 3-4 xCities events at least next year, and then keep increasing, because the more we do it, the more the template is set, and the easier it is to set things in place, because certain logistics will be sorted. The first time is always the hardest.
And what about how will you attract people from outside MultiversX? Because if it's just about MultiversX ecosystem, it's pretty good in a community point of view. But in terms of expansion and awareness and so on, I think that you organize some things with schools or universities. Maybe you want to speak about it.
Indeed. So as you can see, it's called X London. Obviously, it's the wrong way. It's the MultiversX, but it is quite discreet. We're not saying MultiversX is the best blockchain. Come join a cult on the presentation. It is more discover blockchain, and we then showcase MultiversX as one of the blockchains. We also compare it to others to give it a fair view. But the idea is really like a neutral communication, and we're using, as you were saying, we have Ofed Harry, who works in the educational sector, and we have contacted a lot of student societies. We are using regular channels like LinkedIn, Facebook, even Eventbrite for people to be able to see the event and then bridge them over to Xoxno. So we've used traditional channels, and we are actually getting more people attending from outside MultiversX than inside MultiversX as of now. So it's a great success. But we wanted this balance, because we think one of the fun things is this isn't a sales pitch, right? So we want people who attend and want to discover about blockchain. If they have a question, they'll have a community member right next to them who can answer the question. And also for the ones showing up, we might have some limited edition merch of participating projects which we've worked with. So if you want your custom X cards mug or something else, you'll get to see more. You have to come. They're going to be only for attendance.
Okay, maybe I will join.
Oh, maybe you managed to
No, the goodies. I like the goodies.
Exactly. Good are important.
Yeah, no.
We have a comment
Indeed.
that is interesting about how many people are you expecting for the event, and Adrian tells us that at the moment there are only 36 tickets reserved. Just to be, I haven't bought mine, for example, so I think people should go and reserve them. But yeah, how many people are you expecting for this conference?
Yeah, so in the 36 tickets reserve, obviously there's not the sponsors yet, there's not the team. And also those 36 tickets only represent people we've approved, because if you go on the Exoxno page, you'll see there is a student ticket which is under approval and needs a code. So we check that on a regular basis and check the new students that have joined through that code. But also, as I was saying, we have the Eventbrite event where we have, I think, around 40 tickets reserved. And what we're doing is, because we have their mails, we will inform them to then migrate over to Xoxno so they can get the NFT tickets. If that breaks Eventbrite's TNCs, I'm not sure, but we'll see. So we're expecting well above 50 people. We have capacity for up to 100. We can even go a bit higher if needed. But again, this is the first event. We couldn't know what the appetite would be for it, but we can see a lot of interest. And we also can see that, sadly, a lot of people who wanted to make it and who've talked about joining this concept aren't able at the end of this month. So a bit unfortunate on that part. So we're expecting the events after that to have even more participants.
Is it free?
Yes, it is free. So basically, there
Why
is
a student ticket? What's the difference between?
so to make sure that the people are taking, because we've capped the tickets at 100, to make sure that people are actually going to attend and not just claiming a ticket to get a free NFT, etc. We've put a 0.5 Eagle deposit for community members. So you have to pay 0.5 Eagle when you book the ticket to make sure that you come. When you show up on the day, if you scan in, you'll get your 0.5 Eagle back. If not, they will be lost. And we haven't decided what we will do with them, but probably we'll do a giveaway. So attend and you might get the part of the ones that didn't.
Okay. Send me the link to
Yes.
reserve the tickets, please. I will add it to the description of the video and the audio podcast, and I will take my place also because I haven't already. Thank you very much, Joaquim, for coming this morning on GM Web3 MultiversX. I wish you good luck for the organization. I know it's not a simple job to organize an event, especially when it's not your full-time job. And yeah, congrats for this initiative. We need more and more of this. Our social events planned for the evening, trying to figure out if I should find a place in London for the night. Social events. Yeah. Is there any?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So two things. It's a 2-day event, so I would highly recommend being for both days, because the program is going to be vastly different and some of the activities will span over those 2 days. Yes, there's going to be things in the evening. It's going to be more laid back, like going together for a drink, etc. But we also have the possibility to stay at the venue we've booked for until quite late. So depending on how people are feeling, we will decide accordingly. So definitely would find a place to stay for the night between Saturday and Sunday. Thank you, Jerem, for having me, and Philippe. And I look forward to next time when I'll be by your side and not as a guest. I like it better on the other side.
Oh well, we
Very
have
much.
been nice, honestly. I mean,
Thank you very much. And stay with me, guys, because it's the end of this show. Thank you very much for everyone who was there today with us. And I remind you that at the beginning of the show, we made a full crypto press release. And after we received Ahmed to speak about the USH first native stablecoin on MultiversX, and now Joaquim just answered all of our questions about xCities, and the first edition will be in London on the 29th and 30th. No?
30th of November and 1st of December.
Oh yeah. Thank you very much. And yeah, you can find this show in podcast audio just after the show. You can find it on YouTube. And please, guys, it's important, subscribe to our channel, put a like and a comment. It's important for us. And see you next week for a new GM Web3 MultiversX. And I can tell you right now, it will be not only, but it will be about memes coin. Okay? See you there. And have a